Mr. Samuel Tillman, and Samuel Tillman is an SRE, site reliability engineer with the NBA, and he's going to talk about how he got to that role, how he got interested in tech, and how his path kind of moved with the things that were going on in his life at the time. So with
How did I start in IT? For me, it's a little bit different. I didn't code as a kid. I'm 42. I was born in '80. To be honest, man, I was in the streets. Like super heavy.
Gotcha.
Like heavy. Got expelled from school in 10th, 11th grade. Went to get my GED. From that, joined the Army, and the rest is history. I picked up a computer in the Army. That's what I first learned about PCs, servers, all of that. We had one in the household, but it's more like, it was 97, 98, 99. We weren't really doing too much with PCs back then. So I first learned Windows, Unix, Linux, all that stuff in the military. It was 1999.
So your job in the military was working with computer systems.
Yep, I was a 74 Bravo. That was an information systems operator analyst. So basically, we worked on anything from PCs to servers and some routers and switches at times. My first job was actually managing an exchange farm that we had that ran a software called Defense Messaging System that we used to send secure messages. It was kind of the first foray into PKI, you know what I'm saying? So that was my first big job in the military and doing that.
So you didn't get your diploma right? You ended up having to go back and get your GED. And even outside of getting your GED, I'm assuming you did it on your own. You managed to score pretty well on the ASVAB. I mean, they don't just that's not like an average type of job, right?
Yeah, I wasn't dumb. I was just in the streets.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off.
I was a smart kid that faced like high percentile and all that kind of tests and whatnot. There was a little hiccup in elementary school. I have a speech impediment, and they thought I was learning impaired for a little while until I did some tests and proved them wrong on that. But just getting in trouble a lot, man. Fighting, all that kind of stuff, just regular neighborhood stuff, you know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. And
did you have somebody? Was it like somebody in your life that kind of like said, "Hey, you need to, look at what you're doing," and that kind of thing, and make you go back and look at the military?
Yeah, my father was there, so and I got in trouble. Like I was in a 2-parent household, good household. I wasn't like from the hood, whatever, but like not like it wasn't Compton or anything. Although we did live in LA for a little while, but it wasn't like crazy. I was a knucklehead, getting no trouble here and there. Police interactions every now and then, things like that. So I had to get expelled from school twice in 2 years. And I actually caught a really big case that kind of got me in a lot of trouble. After that, I kind of sat myself down, worked with my dad for a little while getting my GED, and started looking at joining the Army. I kind of always wanted to go. I just wanted to go in a different way. But, the opportunity came. I took the ASVAB, scored well, and my dad and my dad's friend, who was an administrator at my church, also a recruiter for the Army. They kind of guided me into the Army and made sure that I was good to go. Kind of, did me a solid with that job choice.
Gotcha. And did you just kind of like jump right into it? Like, so for me, I was the same way, but just on the Marine Corps side of the house. Like I felt like I was like last in class when I was going through school.
I don't know, man. I picked it up pretty well. Like we had a PC in the house. My dad worked at Radio Shack, so he brought a PC home, a Tandy home one day. And I would like try to make like beats or whatever. Like way back then, there's a software called Beethoven's Fifth or whatever. We created like 1 in a million. Finally, made that track over again, whatever. So that's like the only thing I really did. With computers, I did have to put in like my own CD drive. You know what I mean? But that was about it. I wasn't like a computer guy. I was trying to do other things, you know. So when I
yeah.
got it, man, I kind of took to it. It was fun, you know what I mean? And it was weird. There were guys that I was in AIT with. I was the school part of the military or the army experience. So you go to basic and you learn your actual job in AIT. For those who don't know, but I went there and there were guys who were like, "Oh yeah, I've been doing this coding all my even back then. Like I've been coding all my life," and I'm like, "What? Like you guys like you had computers when you're how old? I'm like what? Like internet wasn't even, like, but I didn't get it. I just didn't get it. You know, it was weird to me. But I took to it pretty well. You know, whatever they had us learn, you know, I can read. You know, so like and I
Right.
always tell people with IT, if you can read and comprehend, you can do anything you want to do. Like you can be a senior engineer, a CCIE if you're doing Cisco, like long as if you can read and you can follow directions, then you want to do IT, in my opinion. You know, it's
I
not a
appreciate that, man. Like people think it's so complicated, but it's as simple as that. If you can read, understand what you're reading, and apply it, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah,
pretty much.
it's gonna take some time. You know, you ain't gonna just like read something in 15 minutes and start writing your own, programs and stuff like that.
Right,
But
right.
it is literally that simple. So you stayed in the army and you do like a single enlistment,
Yeah,
6 years, 8 years.
I did 6 years in the army, moved around a couple times, some good high speed units, and I actually had a medical issue that prohibited me from continuing, from re-enlisting. So I got out in '05 and actually got a job working at one of my dad's friends' T-Mobile stores. So I worked at T-Mobile for a little while, kind of supporting my
Was it like
family.
on the sales floor or maintaining the actual local
Nah, I was
infrastructure?
retail, man. I was retail. Like
Retail.
in the army, I was weird. Like I did well in my job. I learned things. Like I ran email for whole posts. I did a lot of like cool stuff, whatever. But I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know how to
Mhm.
translate that from the military stuff to the civilian stuff. So I would go on these interviews expecting to kill it. I want to crash this interview, and I would bomb. I mean, I was tanking like badly because I didn't know terminology. Um, I wasn't really confident, in like translating my skills over to the civilian world yet. I didn't know how to do that, and I really didn't have anyone to show me until later on. That's a woman by the name of Jill. She kind of like looked at my resume and skills and kind of crafted my first resume that I still use to this day. But I had help on the way with that kind of stuff. I didn't know what I was doing, man. Like I hadn't been to college. I knew the army, but I was like green. I still feel that I'm green. I think that kind of helps
Yeah.
me kind of succeed because I'm always learning, trying to pick up on skills and whatnot.
Right.
Um, but I never feel like I know anything. I'm always searching and looking for answers. I don't know.
That's
I'm
a
gonna say,
mindset that I feel like
Yeah.
most of the best have. I mean, I feel the same way. Shit, I'm always learning something. I don't feel like I'm an expert in too much, but a lot of people would beg to differ. But I'm always learning.
but for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Like yeah, I tell people all the time, man. Like, look, I'm a like, when I call Comcast or AT&T for my internet going out, I'm a customer too. I got to sit there and reboot the router, just like like, so that's how I take it to another IT, man. I just treat everybody like I want to be treated, kind of keep it a little bit humble. You know what I mean? So.
So you did the retail thing. How'd you end up getting your first actual technology based, role?
I started a run of very bad contracts, um,
It
military
wasn't the
contracts,
DoD, was it?
deal stuff, and they were bad. Like I'm talking about, back then. So this is like 2005, 2006. At this
Okay.
point, I'm trying to make it to 100 grand. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
I
get 100.
know.
Like I'm good to go.
Don't that,
So
bro? Don't that seem like the lottery ticket? Like for every
Just trying to
for
get to
sure,
when you
100
first
grand.
get here. All right, man, I gotta get that six. I gotta get that
I
big
need, I need to
six.
get that hunt done. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I was chasing 100. You know what I'm saying? So like they're like, look, the best way to get it is to go. I talked to a buddy of mine who's like, look, take that shitty ass contract, keep building your skills. So so I left. I was in Savannah at the time, like living near Fort Stewart in a town called Huntsville, Georgia. And man,
Okay.
I took a bus, bro, because I was broke as shit. I took a bus from Hinesville, Georgia, to St. Louis, Missouri,
Damn.
and the
Ooh, that's
project
a ride,
manager,
bro.
yeah, and the project manager on the project picked my ass up and took me to Fort Leavenworth. Yeah, man,
Wow.
that's my first job I had. I was working on a project to do some patching and shit for Fort Leavenworth, and man, that was crazy. I got my first taste of like GS employees don't like contracts. Like they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
fuck with people.
It's like a gang. It's
Yeah,
like two gangs, man.
yeah. So it's bad,
Yeah.
man. Like, I did some good work though. There, I set up an SMS server and a secure network, did some tackling stuff. All
You say
military stuff.
tackling?
Yeah, setting up tackling
Man.
boxes. So like all military, like super military stuff, like SIPRNet, NIPRNet type things. Still not really like doing myself any justice wise as far as like gaining new skills, but it's like keep my mind going. So
So
left that contract.
you was still kind of floating on what you had already learned in the army,
Yeah, I
not
wasn't really
stretching
like
yourself.
learning anything. Nah.
Yeah.
So like I left that contract under bad terms. And actually had to drive. I bought like a clunker. Me and my family at the time took a road trip to Rock Island, Illinois for my next contract. And I worked on the Rock Island Arsenal. And it's an army post there or an arsenal there. And I had a real weird job. I wasn't doing tech stuff. I was a part of a team, but we were designing a solution. So, and I didn't know how to do that yet. I had no idea about solutions architecture and system design, all that kind of shit. I was like, man, what the hell's going on here, bro? I want to just build shit. Just tell me to go install something. Yeah, I was managing this project, kind of an assistant project manager to build this solution. And I was like, we were hiring people. I was like interviewing people. I'm like, at the time, maybe like 26, something like that. And this budget's like, $30 million. I don't know what I'm like, man, this is crazy. So, I did that and I learned how to manage the project. I learned how to actually like build a solution. I learned how to interview people. I learned how to place folks. No, it's pretty cool. Then I moved on from there, went to Dallas for another contract, working on a service desk for Southwest Asia. So we would do all the remote server work for all the units that were down in theater, no down range. Did that for a little while. Then I said I had enough of this DoD stuff. Let me go do some civilian stuff, and couldn't find a job, man, for months. Like
Really?
for months.
Man,
No,
you
man,
got
no.
that's a lot of skill, man. So what do you think was the problem going on right
At
then? Was the industry or the
first,
market just like that bad?
the market had went crazy at the time, and it was just hard to find contracts because at that point, that's all I knew. I had a couple like very high value contracts in between there. Did some work, all over the world, whatever. Like I mean, everywhere, just getting cash, picking up skills, building like long term, 3 months here, 6 months here. Then I landed a position at a small local membership organization, and there I managed the entire network. So I did servers, PCs, routing and switching. I did with vendors. I'm handling everything from Mac OS updates to Cisco ASA. You know, um, firewall management type stuff.
Wow.
I started doing more Linux at that point. Doing more VMware, getting involved with uh, the Microsoft community because at the time I'm a Windows guy, but doing more Linux, and from there went to it's bounced around a lot, kind of bounced around, kind of like the normal it's the normal way that military guys do when they get out, kind of
Yeah.
bounce around until they find their gig, and I got a call from a company called Cedar Creststone in Atlanta to work on their Windows team. And that's where I got my first taste of like production, like real big
enterprise.
budget IT. Like
Yeah.
we were Oracle partners. We were doing PeopleSoft implementations. We're VMware partners. I mean, I'm doing maintenance Windows. I'm learning about data center where we're going in. They had pizza everywhere, food. We're there all weekend patching and updating services and whatnot. I learned how to explain what I do at that company. So like the skills that I used there, I already had. I already had VMware experience. I already had experience with servers. I was really very good at my job, but I was able to tie it all together there and kind of start making a name for myself.
And when you say you were able to explain what you do, you mean probably the same thing that I kind of went through. Well, you just like you dope as fuck on your tech stuff. But what you learn in that instance seems like you learn to translate the technical stuff into what its business impact was.
Right,
Is
and,
that
and
about
then
right?
right, and I had a hard time because I'm young at the time. Well, I'm not old now, but I'm a lot younger at the time. But
Hold on to it, man.
like people really like underestimate. When I tell them like, look, man, like when I was in the army, bro, like you don't think because we're in the army, we're like just it's like a regular job until you go down range. But
Yeah.
unless you're down, and even then, it's like a little shaky. But it's not like we're I didn't. If you're not mature when you go into the army's not going to make you more mature. You're going to
Yeah.
have to like kind of dig in and make yourself. It's like going to college. Because you go to college, doesn't mean you're going to come out, and be like, top shit at whatever you majored in. You got to put some work in, bro. And I wasn't putting the work in, so I had to buckle down and say, all right, I gotta like, to be honest, I'm not the only black guys in these rooms. Like I don't talk like these guys talk. I'm from the hood. These guys aren't. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have similar interests. Like I'm not like a big gamer. I'm not like not like a
Yeah.
normal IT guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I just came back from a time called class in Georgia. We had the fish fry. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I'm hitting mosquito. I'm a country boy. Like, I'm one of them. I like to go
Yeah.
fishing. And that
Yeah.
kind of shit. So I just really good at my job. Like, I'm really good at, like IT operations and like putting shit together. I just put things together very. I don't know, man. It's like I feel like if I would have been in marketing, I would have been fine in marketing. If I would have went into accounting, I would have been good. It's that my dad told me to pick this job. That's the one I picked.
Man.
You
Yeah.
know, um,
That's
but
that's
like
some solid advice.
I don't know,
I
man. Like he
mean,
gave
like what made your dad see that though? Like, he just had a
because I was
feeling
a
that it was gonna
knucklehead.
be
Like I wanted to do what I was doing in the streets and translate that to the military. So I wanted to go like
mm.
infantry, airborne, all this extra shit. And my dad's like, nah,
You
hell
ain't
no.
gonna be no hero today. You gonna get in
Nah,
front of the
bro.
computer and shut up.
It's like, get the keyboard, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? This keyboard. Get out of here.
Like
You know what I'm saying? So,
Black Rambo, get out of here.
for sure, I want to hear that shit. Computers. But it's kind of been but it's a double-edged sword because I'm able to explain things at a level where people that don't know technical shit, they'll call me before they call anybody else. Hey,
Yeah.
bruh, what's up? What is this shit? And I'll let them know what's going on. Like, at the same time, I don't speak like these people speak, or I don't like. I've had interviews like, well, you haven't been to college, you didn't do this stuff growing up. Now, how do we know that you have these skills? And I'm like, well, ask me any port number, and I'm gonna let you know what it is. Like, ask me what, like, ask me how to build something. Ask me questions. Actually, ask me, and I'll let you know. And I had to learn how to like interview differently. Like, I had to learn how to interview, bro. I had to learn how to like, make sure that I get my skills across because the resume looks kind of crazy and people kind of talk to me like, "What? This is a regular. This is a regular cat. And this is a regular
Yeah.
dude."
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It can't be the
Cats,
same resume.
Yeah, it can't be the same guy.
Yeah.
Then we get in meetings and
yeah,
things
cats that
change.
interview like that, asking questions like, "How do we know you know how to do this?" Like, they don't know how to interview. Like, you're supposed to know how to figure that out. You can't just look at some shit and say, "Oh, you got a
Exactly.
bachelor's and a master's. You know what you're doing." Like, what? It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't until I got to the NBA that I actually had a good
Oh,
interview.
so you did go get
I'll be
your
Really?
honest. Like, yeah, like for real, like the NBA, man, like I can't speak enough to like their devotion to diversity. I mean, and maybe it's because where they're located in New York and New Jersey, it's a big melting pot. But bro, you see people of all colors, you know, all shapes and sizes. A lot of women in leadership positions, which for me is great to have daughters. I mean, and the interviews from my boss to like the CTO were like super laid back and cool. They know that I couldn't be bullshitting on this resume because why would I even do that? This shit is like insane. You
Yeah.
know, as far as this,
Like day one, you found out.
they wanted me to talk. They wanted me to talk that shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I went there and I was able to talk it, and they were not playing. Like I work with guys who worked at Rancher. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Who like when you go to Rancher and go to their actual documentation, my teammate wrote that shit. You know,
Wow.
these guys are like we're a small SRE team, but these are some of the smartest guys I've ever had a chance to even work with. I mean, the smartest guys I've ever been around. Like, period. Like, hands down, and all colors, all ages. You know, but this is kind of where I feel the most at home. I felt good at other companies too, but like the NBA, besides it being the NBA, this is a great it's a great place to be, man. It's pretty awesome.
So you just felt like real comfortable being yourself. Because like
Yeah,
we talked about that in a different discussion, right? The last interview we did, we were talking about how a lot of us, at least early on, you kind of talk different and you kind of act different in spaces at work in your professional, environment, and it don't feel like the real you, but it's just like another you almost.
I see. I can't do that. So like, I
Yeah,
don't have that thing in my head that will make me like switch up like that.
yeah,
This is what it is. I'm a country boy from the south. You know what I'm saying? I like big trucks, fishing, guns, all that type of stuff.
yeah.
I'm a big guy. You know, I just do tech. You know,
Right, right.
I met a lot of other guys. They're usually like network engineers, usually, and they're like the same type of guys. That, you know, fishermen, outdoors people, or you know, sports guys. You know, we're not all like know, gamers and I do tech stuff on my own to keep my skills together. Like I do have like a K8 cluster running in my house, but I just have that so I can just practice Kubernetes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not at home 24/7 doing tech stuff. Like
Hmm.
I'm plotting fishing trips. I'm like trying to build an outdoor kitchen, looking at that kind of. I'm doing regular stuff, not like a nerd 24/7. Like a lot of these guys
Yeah.
claim to be, but they just can't be. I just don't think it's
You ain't the awkward teenager in the basement coding
not.
all day.
No, I wasn't that guy in school too, man. I wasn't
Yeah,
like the unpopular kid who was a computer nerd. I was, you know,
yeah.
I don't know, always
That's
been like
how.
that regular
Yeah,
guy.
that's how we were too. I mean, me and my brother, we was like in every sport. We literally did 5 different sports, and we had like a little part time job on the side. But I
I tried
mean,
sports
it
back in the
wasn't
day.
like the awkward kids that did just computer stuff. We was just like
Yeah,
regular kids.
I mean, and there's a lot of kids that want to get into computer stuff, but they feel like, oh man, I don't know how to program. You know, stuff
Yeah.
seems really hard. I tell them, well, you need to find your niche. You don't have to be a programmer to be like an SRE or a DevOps engineer. In my opinion, if you're a DevOps engineer or SRE is a little different, but if you're a DevOps engineer, you don't need to know how to write programming languages. You need to know
Actually,
how
you
to
know what?
the
Let's
programming
go
language.
back to let's
Yeah.
go back. We do want to go into like the requirements because a lot of people want to know what that specific space entails, what it requires. But what I want to do is kind of roll back to like as far as you want to go back to like where like this was your shit, right? Like for me, I started with like Microsoft, just some
Mhm.
networking stuff. But for a long time, for about 10 years, a little bit more than 10 years, like my shit was VMware. Like I did
Yeah.
virtualization,
So
so kind of like go through like when that your secret sauce kind of change. You know, your primary thing change from one thing to another to where you like, okay, I want to be a DevOps, a SRE.
Well,
You know,
it's weird. So my bread and butter for a long time was system administration on the Windows side,
okay,
and managing IIS farms, keeping websites up and running before we had DevOps engineers and SREs. It were just SAs back then. So I was a pretty good system admin. Like I made a name for myself. I can solve problems really quickly. If there's an incident call, you'll probably want me on it. Because I like to do it. Like, I like to solve problems. So I kind of made a name for myself that way. When it hit me, I was at a company that we worked on. We wrote and produced HR software, and I had to work on this certain portion of the software, and it was all mine. Like I managed the server farm, I managed the load balancer in front of it. I pushed the code to it, like it was my baby. You know what I'm saying? And when I got there, it took about let's say a week, maybe a week or 2 weeks to onboard a new client into my software that I was responsible for. I wrote a script for it that took from 2 weeks to 5 minutes. Basic PowerShell, tying together SQL, statements, but it was a pipeline. That's what the
right,
pipeline was. So so I wrote this pipeline. We had Jenkins there. We didn't use it for software. We used it for just triggering jobs. So I learned Jenkins. Red Hat was doing road shows around Jacksonville for this thing called OpenShift. I had no clue what it was. I go to the road show. I'm learning OpenShift. I come back, to the office. I'm getting more into it. All of a sudden, hold up, I know Kubernetes. I didn't
you
even
just like
know.
woke up one day like, oh shit, I know Kubernetes, OpenShift and Kubernetes. I know
I
Kubernetes.
had no clue, bro, because I'm in the road show like this. I'm just amazed to be there. Like it's
Yeah,
cool. It's Red Hat. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, it's awesome. And yeah, I'm learning about containers and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, I know Kubernetes now. So I started playing with that, and I got laid off from that job during COVID, and that's when
mm.
I went in that grind mode. I was like, you know what? I'm not taking another job unless it's a DevOps engineer position. So I sat there and grinded out for months. I was on unemployment. I was getting the government checks in. I was just sitting at
But
home,
grinding, studying,
grinding,
right?
studying. I mean,
Yeah.
all day long. I mean, I'm reading books. I wasn't doing shit fun, bro. I'm just on the computer. I'm on a Udemy. I'm on Pluralsight. I mean, I'm paying for all this shit, bro. I'm on LinkedIn
I
Learning.
forgot. I don't know
I
who it
like.
was. I think it might have been like I think it might have been Elon Musk. I hate to drop a name because I'm not sure who it was, but they said if you want to be great at something, take 6 months where you just pull yourself away from everything. Don't go out, don't do nothing, just focus and just learn that thing. And after 6 months, you'll be knocking it out. Like you'll be an expert in that field.
I mean, that's. I
So you
mean, that's
had
how.
a
That's what I tell people. I tell
significant
people all
amount
the
of time
time.
just
If you
to
want to
like
transition
go
to
in.
DevOps, give me 6 months. I'll give you the
Wow,
play. If you run that play, you'll walk into 150 grand. Yeah, a lot of times they don't want to run the play. They just. I've given out copies of the Phoenix Project. Great book to read if you want to get into DevOps.
amazing book to read.
Motherfuckers
And
don't want to read
it
the
ain't
book.
even like it ain't even technical like that. It's like regular
It's not.
stuff going on like a factory.
Yeah,
And you
man. Like
can
they don't.
like that's
They
the
don't want to read the book.
that's one of the that's one of the big pillars for like learning, like
Mm-hmm.
correlation. Yeah,
But people don't want to. They don't want to read. Like
yeah.
I'll tell them how I did it. Like I read books. I read these exact books. I took these courses. I was busting down Coursera. I was busting down Udemy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm investing in myself, and I'm not doing shit but that. Like that's it, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm relearning Linux, getting better. I already knew it from like my job as an SA, but I'm getting better at that. I'm learning more about containers. I'm learning Docker. I'm learning how to write pipelines in different types of in TeamCity and Octopus Deploy. Like I'm creating pipelines everywhere. I have
Mm.
Git repos and GitLab. I'm running GitHub. I'm running ADO repositories. Like I'm learning. I'm touching everything. I'm going out to these jobs I see. I'm seeing what they're asking for, and I'm just learning that shit because for the most part, it's
Hmm.
free to learn. It's
Yeah,
free. Shit is free.
you ain't gotta
And
buy, Udemy courses. You
well,
can
which is
probably
one
find
point.
most of it on YouTube, all right?
Which is one point I want to make because there are a lot of cats that are on LinkedIn that sell these boot camps for thousands of dollars. People taking out loans. They're losing their homes trying to get these courses, and you don't need that shit, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you need 6 months, and for free, you can learn every skill you need to make upwards of 200 grand a year. Because people don't give a fuck how long
They
you
just
know how
can't
to
let you
do
know.
it. They care about if you know how to do
Most of
it.
it is new. Hey, bro, most of it is new. Like they got this AI stuff going on right now. Like, how long
Yeah,
have
it's
you
brand
been
new.
seeing
Right,
AI in the news cycles? I mean, I know it's been
right,
around for years, but it ain't been like, presented to,
Right,
end consumer like it is right now.
right.
People aren't really, you know, they know more than the two letters AI nowadays.
Yeah, man.
So you can learn prompt engineering and
Well,
all kinds of other stuff.
especially if you're already in IT, because a lot of guys are losing jobs being SAs because they don't want to convert to the cloud and DevOps and SRE stuff. I'm like, bro, you have no idea how easy it is. Everything I know from like server operation teamwork and being on these like deployment
It's
teams,
just
that's the
code now.
same shit I'm doing now. The same shit.
Yeah.
It's different
Right.
names. SRE is a system admin
right,
that writes scripts. That's it.
right.
Yeah. They
That's it.
overcomplicate things and then they cheat
But
themselves out
that
of
that is the
even
one
trying.
thing that
Well, it's not
experience
even.
does get you. It allows you to break this stuff down to these simple forms and be able to correlate this to that. So,
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, when it comes to like a job and competency, like you said, it doesn't really matter. It matters to like a manager or a leader type person because then you can correlate these different skills over. But outside of that, if you just doing the do, I don't care if you've been doing this 20 years because 20 years ago the shit was nowhere like it is now.
exactly,
So
bro.
and I
Exactly.
cut you off a few minutes ago. You were about to go through what the base requirements are, what a person would wanna, what kind of skills a person wanna, bring in if they're interested in being an SRE.
I'll start from the basics, and you don't have to get these certifications, but I'm a sysadmin at heart, so that's how we kind of show our skills. I got all these certs. So what you got? Oh, you ain't no cert? Oh, whatever.
Hmm.
So
For
that's
real.
the culture. That's the culture in France. It's weird, but you want to have a network plus level knowledge of networking. If you don't have that, I don't even want to talk to you. If you can't tell, and I've been a hiring manager, and I've led DevOps teams. If you can't tell me what these ports are, how are you going to troubleshoot web issues? If you can't tell me what port HTTP runs on or uh, SSH, you don't know these
You
ports.
gotta
How can
be
you
you
help me?
gotta be able to read the packets,
Yeah,
or else
so
how you gonna sell? You know,
yeah, for sure. Now A plus, I used to go say A plus too, but now you kind of skip that because the cloud makes it easier. But if you go through that A plus, the new one, it will give you a little bit of a head start. Not gonna lie, they're just hella expensive, so you don't have to like take the certifications, but just have that base level of knowledge. So like A
so A
plus,
plus
security
goes a
plus,
little. I
yeah,
actually thought that A plus was like more for like help desk. So you
nah,
saying A plus is like a little bit more
yeah.
talking
People
about
say
like the cloud and stuff like that too.
it talks about types of servers. It goes into like virtual
Okay,
servers, all kind of shit. So like you want to have that
really?
level of
Okay,
knowledge. You want to have like the network plus, security plus. They had one called the server plus. I know I'm harping on CompTIA right now, but I like CompTIA shit.
yeah,
If you do the server plus, you'll for sure be on your way. And they have one called the cloud plus too, but that's kind of depending on where you want to go. So I would say have those A plus, network plus, security plus level of knowledge. Buy the books, bite the bullet on that, or find a PDF online, whatever you gotta do. But read those books. You know what I'm saying? Have that base level of knowledge, and you'll be able to explain like basic security terminology, networking. You'll know how to subnet, or at least know what a subnet is, because we get to this cloud shit, it expects you to know, and it and
yeah,
and it's going to be you're going to want to know these things because it'll set you apart. Because I feel like, in my personal opinion, well, it's a fact. The cloud was made for developers to go in and spin up shit real easy, to get rid of the sysadmins and whatnot. But developers don't want to do that shit. so that's why you have these platform engineering teams now.
yeah.
And if you want to be on the platform engineering team, you better know your ports. Like you better know how to, build systems the right way. So I would go from there. You want to have, because most people go into cloud by lifting and shifting servers. They do VMs first, not really services, but VMs. You want to have a knowledge of VMs, of virtual machines, and how it works, like what a hypervisor is, that kind of shit. If you don't know what a hypervisor is, you shouldn't be messing around. You got to go back and go back a little bit for more studying. But I think they covered that.
And it makes sense because I mean, you if you're dealing with cloud, you're gonna run into a situation. Most of them, they're gonna be connected to prem services.
Yep.
You know what I
Well,
mean? And then a lot of
I haven't seen one that's not yet. So you're going to have a connection to on-prem. Like it's kind of
you lose a little bit of the performance when you push it up. So they try to do
and I
localized
always
process.
expect my guys,
but like,
when I'm doing an interview, if you got Docker or container on your resume at all, I expect you to understand the benefits of virtualization and containerizing services or systems. Like
and
you got to know
the
the difference. Because if you don't, then I don't think you know what you're talking about.
You got to be able to like sell like
you
why we're doing this to a client. Why are we using this instead of
because if a person can't tell why, how they gonna optimize? You don't know the base benefits.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. But shit, from there, what I would say is too, then after you have that base level of knowledge, that's all agnostic stuff. Pick a cloud. Like, so don't go picking like Oracle. Well, any cloud, because you can get a lot of money at Oracle. Oracle's, they're selling their cloud shit. But like you're gonna pick like AWS, Azure, or Google. I got my people on AWS. But I'm an Azure guy now because I like it. I like it better. But pick a cloud and learn that cloud and learn it. Don't. I'm actually coaching up a guy right now. I tell him don't worry about DevOps shit right now. All that. You'll get there. Learn how to create things in the cloud via the GUI. Start there. Take the exams or at least go through the courses. Everything's free. Like it's all free. Go buy a book, whatever. But like learn your cloud. So learn like you take your for Azure it's the 8900, it's the intro, then you have your 104. I have the 900 and the 104. It's probably how I want to go on that because I'm trying to do different things now. But if you
said the associate level, that's the associate level, right?
Yeah, associate level. I'll get back to why I'm stopping the cloud certifications. But for people coming in brand new, you want to knock them out. So like you want to knock out like your associate levels, especially if you have a company who has discounts with different providers or whatnot. Knock out those certs. And I would say if you're having trouble picking one, if you're a Microsoft guy, do Azure. If you're a Linux guy, do AWS. If you're just like a K8 guy, do Google. And learn whatever your company's doing. So like your company has like Jenkins there or whatever, learn that down the road, But start with learning their actual platform, the cloud they're running on. And then once you're able to certify in that stuff, or if you're comfortable just creating resources in the cloud via the GUI, do that via Terraform. So learn how to create those resources via IAC, infrastructure as code, and the main one is Terraform. I don't really even acknowledge the other ones. It's no point in even you can Microsoft has ARM, AWS has like cloud formation. That's what they have, and whatnot. But I don't even acknowledge anything other than Terraform. To be honest, it's if you know Terraform, you're good in the industry. Like you'll get your job for sure. So learn Terraform. It's free to learn. It's free to use. Open source. Once you're able to create resources from your laptop via code, then you need to do that in the pipeline. So you need to learn how to set up like your cloud environment to store Terraform state, so that you can create resources in the cloud via Terraform and update those things via pipelines. And that's where I kind of lose people They're like, what? What's the pipeline? What's CI/CD? You're like, look, bro,
Yeah.
it's not hard. If you can get the flow down for Terraform and curate things in Terraform and have this nice config where you're creating like a resource group in Azure, VMs, VNets, subnets with NSG, all this different stuff,
So
you're gonna be great. Like
do you
that'll get
use
your job.
Terraform, or do you just like, do you recommend people use only Terraform to deploy the infrastructure, or do you have them try to use Terraform to configure it as well? Because a lot of times there's this concept of
Well,
Yeah.
I don't,
Ansible and Terraform, for the deployment
I don't
and
feel like
for
Terraform
your
can really get
I
in
mean,
configuration.
there for the
Terraform.
config though. I mean, what you use Terraform?
There's ways you can do it.
Yeah,
You can do it. You can do
some configuration with Terraform. You can do some deployment with Ansible, but it's just like one's generally made, it's purpose
Yeah.
built for deploying infrastructure, whereas
So like
Ansible's purpose built for.
people try to use Terraform and run Bash or PowerShell scripts in the Terraform to configure the resources. What you should do is have a pipeline running that kicks off your Terraform build, and once that Terraform build is
Right.
done, it triggers your Ansible jobs. That's
Yeah,
what you kind of want. That's Ansible's not hard, but it sounds crazy when you talk about it to people, but it's shut down automatically.
yeah,
You bring it up
yeah,
because it sounds like ridiculous, but it's not really that hard. It's basically just a bunch of files being processed. Like everything we do in like DevOps is processing files. Like that's all it is. Whether they're config files, JSON files, TF files, it's all like files. So it's not like it's it's a cool job, not as glamorous as people make it seem. You're really just like a librarian. You're like storing these books, but they're files in the bookcase, but it's basically a Git repository. That's where you're storing all your
Got all these
configuration and your stuff.
recipes. What we could.
yeah. All you doing is moving YAML files around.
Yeah,
You go from yeah.
but it's pretty. But
So
it's still cool. It's cool building stuff. But yeah, like once you can get the Terraform down, like if you can deploy, if someone can say, "Hey, I need a VM deployed in Azure or a VM deployed in AWS." Well, if you know in AWS you're going to need this, you're going to need an EC2 instance. You're going to have these subnets, and if you know what needs to be done. So I'm an Azure guy. So in Azure, I would create a resource group. You can create VNets in that group. You can create uh, firewall rules on the subnets and those VNets. You can then you'll throw one of your VMs. You can connect them, add your links to them. I know how to write all that in Terraform and get it all up there. If we can do that, then you're already at the 150 mark, in my opinion. Like that'll get you 150. I've seen it. I've hired at that rate, so I know that I know that'll get you, and that takes about 5 months. I mean, to be like, if you're really pressing it, you can learn in 3 months how to do all that. To be
yeah,
honest.
but I would go so far because I do agree with that, but I would say that you could do it, but a person that's going from like straight zero, because I mean we did it in the military. You think a person can go from like straight zero
I
in
know for a
3 months and
fact.
do it?
I know for a fact.
I mean, if you hitting it
Really?
like he's saying
Fact
you
they give
hitting
it up.
it
That coach got.
with no fun, just focus. Yeah, you can.
How many hours would you say? So how many hours would you say a person would be
Every
putting
hour
in
you
a
got.
week
So
with that?
if you're home unemployed, not doing anything, you need to put in all the
Yeah.
hours. I
Right.
mean, it's about how bad you want it. You know what I'm saying? Like I study about 3 hours a night every night, but I have to because I'm an SRE, so we had to know all this extra shit. We had to know
Yeah.
these languages, know how to read the stuff. You know what I mean?
So I hope y'all heard
So
that out there. Like Sam Tillman, SRE for the NBA, he still puts in 3 hours a night.
bro, we
Right?
don't know this shit. No, it's the thing. Like we onboard stuff. We have that like PLC shit. So like right now, I'm doing the PLC for HashiCorp Vault. You know what I mean? And I'm used to running Vault in the cloud environment. Well, running
Mhm.
Vault on premise different. running Vault, we have local storage is different. So you got to do things. So you got to like actually figure out. You got to like rearrange the cluster a little bit because you're running on-prem K8s. So it's been fun. I've been like taking my time and actually relearning Vault. Well, I know Vault. I'm like, oh, but I don't know Vault this way. So we got to actually take
Right,
time to
right.
learn things. And like, I mean, shit's
So,
new. You're not gonna know all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, man. Like, Hash Core builds new
and
tools
that
every
was
day.
something I was telling somebody earlier
Yeah.
today.
Well,
Like, it was asking me about my job. It's like, man, I'm learning something new every day. Like, I'm always learning something new.
Yeah.
That's the thing about working at the cutting edge. It's exciting, but that shit is stressful too.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the reason why I throw it out there like that is that a lot of people, when they say, "Oh, I want to get into IT," a lot of them they want to ask, "How much do you study?" Well, you don't want to do. I do a lot, right? But generally, I like to tell people like 2 to 3 hours a night. If you're trying to be breaking, they say a lot of people say break into tech. Get in, do that, and but they feel like, oh, I just gotta do this to get in. Like, no, this is what you will be doing after you get in, do because the
Right.
tech is constantly
That's
changing.
that's just getting to the
Like,
starting line to say go. When you say go, you're going. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a destination. It's a damn journey.
Right.
yeah, you don't stop.
Yeah, I mean, especially with this new tech. Like one thing right now that's kicking the industry's ass, and is Kubernetes. Because people will swear up and down they know that shit, and you
They don't
talk to
know
them
it.
in a meeting, bro. They do not know what the fuck they're talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
like by a long shot. Like they've never like if you haven't had to go in and manually create a persistent volume and a
Mm,
PVC to go along with that, don't talk to me about nothing
right.
K8s. Like you're not, and then know the levels. Cause like right now I'm studying for my CK80
Mm-hmm.
because realistically that's what most of us do. We're not actually bootstrapping our own clusters and well, I am at the NBA right now, but for the most part, you're not going to build your own cluster. You're going to build one, and you're going to build like EKS and AWS, GC, and GKE over and
Managed classes.
Google. Yeah, so it'll all be
Yeah.
managed. You won't even touch your control plane for the most part. You're going to be on a worker node most of the
And is
time.
that something you would say would be true mostly at the high, like the bigger organizations? They're going to be,
Yeah, man, because
leveraging managed
no one's
clusters.
bootstrapping, and no one's if you want to work in an environment where you're actually working on a control plane, like building clusters for real, you're going to be working at the provider. So you're going to be working for
Yeah.
Microsoft, working for Google, working for AWS.
Yeah.
You're not going to be doing that at your shop. You're going to spin up a little AKS. You're going to dig a little Terraform, spin up an AKS node, deploy your software. You got to
And
know Helm. You
if
got to
it
know shit
had to
like
be
that. You got
done,
to
a
know
lot of
like
times,
yeah.
if it had to be done, a lot of times somebody already did it. You don't do that every week.
Exactly. Like to be good at K8 for your like for me, I had to know Helm. I had to know how to do all these different like deploying your applications. I'm not like really building clusters. No one's really doing that.
Yeah.
But people act like they are. I've had interviews. I've interviewed guys who've had like their CKA, CKAD, CKS, and know nothing about Kubernetes.
Yeah.
They're able to pass that test somehow. Or however they pass it, you
Really?
got it.
That's a practical application test.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
faked
man.
that
But
one
like,
out.
man, I can probably shotgun that test, man, because open note. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going through the
Yeah.
courses right now, but it's an open test. I feel like if you have a little bit knowledge of look a little knowledge of K8s, like you actually like
Mm,
you can pass a test, but you're not going to be able to like
man.
work
I don't know, man. If they can
on
get through
part
it
of
though, I give it to them, man. If they can
like
get through it, even with
I've seen.
open book.
I interviewed a guy who had the certification that asked him about
Mm.
PVCs. He didn't know what the fuck they were.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what's going on?
That's suspect right there. But
Yeah,
I
it's very
mean, God,
it's
that's
very suspect.
I guess if you saying somebody did it, then I mean, you know what you know.
I've seen
I'm
it a
like,
lot at
that's a hard one though.
the hiring manager. I've seen it a lot. That's
Yeah.
all. Like
Wow.
off camera, I can tell you like more about it and get more
Yeah.
into it. But this is there are
Mm.
people who are faking it. Like
Wow.
they're
That's
faking it.
unfortunate, man. Because me and Mark always tell people like that cert is just it's a target. It's not the goal. It's a target that allow you to pick up the goal on the way to the target.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't know, oh, what I need to learn, just do the cert. If you do the cert, you have to pick up these skills in order to pass the exam. That's the purpose of the exam. But
Yeah,
if you
see,
circumvent and learning
So
the
I think
skills,
the
you
cert, like
waste
no
your
matter
time.
what cert, I don't think a cert's gonna give you that in-depth knowledge. Like you said, it gives you the flags, but you got to take those flags and dive deep into the knowledge, right? Just because you pass the cert, that's just
Yeah,
yeah.
scaffolding. You know what I'm saying?
See, I think
yeah.
of cert as you having
Right.
base level knowledge. So you
Base
have
level
the
knowledge.
least
Yeah,
amount of
right.
knowledge to get this shit working. But that's it's an open nose test. Most people who are taking the CKAD or CKA are a little bit seasoned in IT, should be at
Yeah.
least. And if you can shotgun it and pass it. You don't have to make 100%. You know, you can shotgun it and pass it. And people do it. People do it. People pass the Terraform exam,
Wow.
and they can't tell me how to, the Terraform operation, like how to actually kick off a Terraform job. And they can't. And that's very easy. Like, that's very simple. And they can't tell me that. Something like it happens, man. Just like back in the day when you had your paper MCSCs. Same thing now.
Yeah, yeah. Paper Tigers.
Yeah,
So,
same shit.
So you Marco, did you have any
nah,
questions
it
for him?
made a lot of good,
We kind of
made
like
a lot of
pushing
good
on the
points, man.
hour.
Because
So
I actually interviewed a guy, and he had Terraform on his resume, and I asked him about. I just gave him a simple scenario. I like to hear how people talk through scenarios and stuff. So I'm like, hey, if I have 5 resources deployed using Terraform, and I want to remove one, what do I need to do? Basically, just remove it from the code, right, and rerun the job. He didn't know. I'm and you got
What?
Terraform on your resume, dude. This is
Yeah,
super simple.
see,
no, just
but that's what
run
I tell
Terraform,
people all the
destroy
time
it,
too.
just call it
See,
a
I tell
day.
people all the time, if you're gonna have it on your resume, at least do enough for the I'm not mad at you.
Right,
If you want to put it in your resume on a sprinkle in the job, whatever, do your thing. You know what I'm
right,
saying? You better know how to explain that shit.
right.
Because it's
Yeah.
just know it. And if you're good, you're good. But if not, you're gonna look bad, man. And you'll get blackballed because this is a small community. We all know each other, bro. Especially if you're black. To be real,
Yeah,
we all kind of know
yeah,
of each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's who that the big dogs are, like who's out here doing it, who's. You better know your shit because I have seen like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of gatekeeping going on, where
yeah.
so you kind of need to know your stuff, man, because people
It
are
is
not trying
not
to.
uncommon for somebody to say, "Yeah, I'm interviewing this one kid for this job. Resume looks good." Who? Oh, yeah, I don't know. We interviewed
Bro.
that dude, and we ain't really
Yeah,
know it. And they may still proceed with the interview, but the last thing you want is a person that you talking to saying, "Okay, I wonder what he lying about."
Bro,
That's the
I have
same
had
line that they
I have
rolled
had to
into it with.
stop people in the
Now, what kind of
interview
smoke is
and
he
tell
gonna
them to turn
blow
their
up during?
camera on. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like you read something. Like, hey man, turn your
oh
camera
yeah,
on.
oh, they're reading. Sure. Oh, I had a guy. We can see it in his glasses. He's on Google. I'm like, bro, like I told one guy, and he got mad at me. I actually hired him because he impressed me. But then he turned out to be a jerk, so I fired him. but
Gee.
like if you don't know
Exactly.
something, just say that shit, bro. Like I made a career of saying I don't know. I gonna find out. And then when I go find out, man, I took a job where I had to do a migration from CityMail to Exchange Server, and I got hired because of my Exchange Server knowledge. I have never even touched CityMail in my life. I had no clue or what the fuck. I had no clue, bro. I had no clue. I called a buddy of mine, a Linux email guy, and I went through a week boot course with that guy every day for hours doing mock migrations from SendMail to Exchange, bro, to the point I do it in my sleep. I made a bunch of money on that job. Real big company, by the way. Like, real, back in the day, you read their magazines all the time. I
Yeah.
made a killing, and I was there. But, bro, I hustled my way through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, but it's like, admit it. Just say, hey, I don't know. And I told them, I said, hey, I know the exchange. I can figure out the SendMail shit. Come, bring me on for a week. You don't like it, send it back home. Whatever.
Mm.
I went up there for 6 months. I made a little check. I did other shit for them.
Yeah.
They tried to hire me, but they wasn't going to pay me what I needed to get at that time. You know what I'm saying? So,
Really. You talked about a guy you're training, right, or mentoring coaching, whatever that relationship is, do you do a bit of mentorship coaching or helping the community, get through
That's
this space, or what's that like for you?
that's the only reason why I have a LinkedIn right now. Is to make sure that I'm reaching out to people. People hit me up every day, and they can tell you, I don't just they have my number. They can call me. You know what I'm saying? It's surprising how a lot of these guys. I had a bad run in with a guy from Google. It's a real like seemingly cool dude from Google, black guy, and I reached out to him a couple times with genuine questions about stuff because I feel like the developer community is more accepting of that than the sysadmin community is. And he's part of the developer community, well known dude.
Mm.
Asshole, bro. Like it's like I mean this
Really?
it said like never meet your heroes. I was like really turned off. So that made me like, you know what? If anybody asks me anything, I'm ODing it. I'm going overboard. I send people books, you know what I'm saying? I pay for certifications. Like all
Yeah,
kind of
we
shit,
done
man.
the same.
Like put people on, man. Like
Yeah.
there's
Right.
not enough people to fill these jobs. Why are we gatekeeping this stuff? Like I don't care if you just learn IT. I don't care if you made more than me. I was at a job where I would say this salary. I was making 120 something. 120 around 120.
Mm.
And I was hiring guys who were making 140. I was their lead. But
Yeah.
they're making more than me. But I didn't give a
Right.
shit. I want to put people on.
Right.
Like if you want to do this and you want to like change life around or create that generational wealth for people, because this is kind of like tech and like medicine. It's how black people right now are creating generational wealth. Like I had no clue I can make this much money
Yeah.
in IT, and it's allowing me to like literally create wealth. And that's for my family. You know what I'm saying? So why not put everybody on
Right.
who
Right.
wants to get a piece of it? I'm
Exactly.
mentoring crazy.
Exactly.
I want more people to mentor. I want to be able to have Zoom calls every night where I can have a Zoom call with 15 people a night. What do you want to do in IT? All right. I have a guy to put you on with who's a CCIE. He'll make you a networking guru. Or you want to be a DB guy? I got a guy for you. Or you want to be a storage guy? I got a guy for you. Now, that's how I get down. You know what I'm saying? Like
So
I know people who are,
is this a formal situation you've built out, or is it just like more personal, where it's like, hey, look me up on LinkedIn and we can chop it up?
it's getting to the point now where I have to make it formal. I'm actually getting a personal assistant because it's getting to the point now where like I need to have someone schedule all these meetings I'm having with everybody because I'm trying to like put everybody on, and then I'm gonna have to make it a formal thing.
I actually had a guy that wants to do a series on cyber and some other stuff like in that realm.
I have a
So
good guy for that.
if you wanna
I have a
throw
good
a
guy for
segment
that.
together, man. If you wanna throw a segment together, we can definitely work
Yeah,
together
for sure, man.
and set something up.
I mean, I got homies in every part of IT, man. Like,
Mm.
it's like that's something I want to do for sure. Help people pull on because a lot of gatekeeping going on for sure. A lot
Yeah.
of people get taken advantage of these boot camps. I want to say one guy's name so bad, but I swear I wouldn't. but it's
Nah,
like,
don't drop names.
but like, I just like these boot camp dudes. You know what I'm saying? They're taking advantage of people. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be like the
Is
guy
it?
who's giving
What is
knowledge.
your? I want a clue though. I just want a clue. Is it like? Is that in the payment processing side of the house?
Nah. Well,
Okay. All right.
nah.
I'm
I
trying
know
to
what
think
you're
of who
talking
it
about.
is.
I think I
Okay.
know what you're talking about too, but nah, it's another guy.
Hey, I
this
don't get in the way of a man's money, but
yeah.
I'm
Well, this
like, y'all
person
be
worked.
careful out there.
This person worked for a company who taught stuff online, and then branched off, and it's basically like he sells his boot camps, but they're basically doing stuff you can do online for free. I'm like, wow, crazy. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? This is free shit, or low
Yeah.
cost stuff. But yeah, man. I mean, some people are getting jobs. I do want to shout out a couple good boot camps though. Like
Okay.
there's what is it? Akira Labs
Hmm.
out in New York. They do a free boot camp. It's free. six
Wow.
months, and I was actually a judge on one of their DevOps competitions. Those guys are actually like learning from,
Oh,
and
so
they're
they
learning. from
Is that
zero.
kind of like a? Is that kind of like a?
Pure
I
Lab.
forget, we got
Check
to
that
call
out.
it those big projects at the end of.
Yeah, Cure
Is
Labs.
that kind of like a capstone where you come in and judge like stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're going from zero to hero. Zero to
legitimately.
hero in 6 months. They're pushing out pipeline to GitHub Action. They're right. They're building infra and pushing code in one pipeline. That's
Nice.
hard to get seasoned folks to know how to do, bro. And they're using Terraform. They're using all kinds of shit. They're going crazy, So I like those guys. And that's the only boot camp that I can kind of co-sign right now because it's free.
Mm.
I can't co-sign anything that costs money.
Yeah, I had looked that one up. I'm wondering how it's free if it's like government subsidized or somehow. But
he got some back end. The guy who runs it he's in with a lot of big guys in New York. He got a lot of good.
Gotcha.
They got bread. They got money.
That's a great situation for New York.
They place guys that. They have guys that are SREs that go from working at McDonald's to becoming an SRE.
Mm.
Like,
and that has a pretty high base, like a minimum.
At DraftKings, they're at DraftKings. They're at banks. Like they're getting. I offer 2 people a job. I offer jobs to some of these people. They're that good. So that's one I can actually co-sign.
Are you dabbling any on the AI side of the house, dealing with GPUs for containers and all the other stuff?
I'm going to be involved regardless because I build the resources in the cloud. So no matter what happens, someone needs to know how to keep shit running in the cloud. It's just an app to me. AI, it's an application that runs. When it goes down, they have to have SREs go and bring it back up. The first thing I said about ChatGPT when it came out is that, hey, there's no scaling going on. It's crashing every day. So who the SREs running this project? And one of the guys actually hit me up like, hey, good looking out. We're hiring SRE. We're doing something, and they were going to Microsoft at the time. So that came out that they're going to Microsoft, and they became better. But as long as they have services to run on the cloud and they need to deploy it, I'll have a job. That'll be good.
Dope.
I have a lot of inside game on the IT industry, man. Like kind of being like I don't know, man. Like I found myself in some really crazy rooms. So I have a lot of game to give, man. I'm trying to give it out to whoever wants it, man.
Yeah, we try to impress upon people like heavily the importance of your network. Like not as in like Cisco, but your actual social network.
Gotta know that.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I really appreciate you coming on, man. Especially on the National Recognized Holiday.
Anytime, bro.
But hey, we're gonna talk and see if we can get some follow-up stuff going for people to kind of benefit from if you get time. But aside from that, man, be safe and enjoy your night. I'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, man. I'll see you.
Well, unless you guys have any other parting thoughts, I think we can cut it.
No, it was a great to meet you. You obviously have met Rico before because damn, you guys really ragged on each other.
Yeah, she comes to our office so we can access the networks from time to time.
Did she come and take your lunch money when she come?
This is gonna be a running joke now.
Look, man, I don't get bullied no more, man. I'm grown up now, man.
Well, I gotta get out of here because I gotta go.
Wait before you leave, man. Let me stop the tape so I can let things roll up.